Okay,
We're good.
you guys all hear me okay? Yes, thumbs up? Okay, great. Sorry, guys. We were meeting in the other room, cause they have more space, but we got in there. Probably by probably my error. I couldn't get the camera to work in there, so we switched off and, we're in a smaller space right now. Kind of a full agenda today, so I'm gonna get kicked off right away. If you all could click to your view to the speaker on your thing, you'll be able to see it better on there when Gwen and Marianne talk. So you don't have to do it now, but it'll probably give you guys a better viewpoint of what's going on. So as always, we open up with the public forum with 15 minutes of an opportunity for the public to speak. So greetings, everyone. Today's SRLJC meeting will begin with public comment for 15 minutes. As a reminder, there's a 3-minute limit per individual. Speakers should address the matters which are within the powers and duties of the SRLJC. Speakers should also identify themselves and address the chair. Council members will not engage in dialogue with you, however. If you would like to comment and have not done so, send a chat message to the administrative assistant. She will give you a speaker number and announce when it's your opportunity to speak. So I will kick it off there. And give an opportunity for someone to. Medea, if we have anybody that indicated they want to speak,
We do not.
that's either by email or by phone or otherwise, right?
That is correct.
Okay, I will give it another couple minutes and then I will close up the open public forum. Okay, going once, going twice. We'll close the public open forum and we'll switch to our agenda, regular agenda. So welcome to the September 11th, 2024 SRLJC, I'm sorry, today's meeting, the 13th of November, and we'll open up with a minutes approval for September 11th. So do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any conversation on the minutes? Seeing no conversation, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries unanimously and we'll move on. All right, we'll open up with news that happens every year, which is that the opening for chair and vice chair happens every year at the close of the year. So just so you know, if you guys have got some idea for, or one of you wants to become the chair of the SRLJC, or if you have some nominations, we'll be able to move through that portion of it. We also have a community representative, which is the formerly incarcerated position 2, which is open as well. John Haley is graciously going to stay on until we find a replacement for him, which we very much appreciate, John. Thank you. And then also, as you know, there's a standing opening for the racial inequity chair that we hope to fill. So would you all like to take a vote today on the election of the chair and the vice chair? Or would you guys like to do it by email? Someone, anyone?
I move we elect Mike Barber as chair.
Okay. We have any other nominees for chair? All right, Mike Sparta's been nominated for the chair. All in favor, say aye for the next year.
Aye.
Aye.
I would like to make a nominee for vice chair. for Justin. And I'm hoping that he will take that on again. So all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
You
Any
may
other-
want, if any other nominees.
Any other nominees for vice chair? Anybody else want to be vice chair?
I'd second Justin Bingham as vice chair.
And I,
Oh, man. Okay, all in favor of Justin Bingham being the vice chair, say aye.
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 Welcome back, Justin.
Thanks, Mike. And thanks,
All right,
Judge.
We're taking care of that business. We'll open up the opportunities for the two other positions as we always do. We'll go to the board and open it up and see if there's anybody that wants to take on those two positions. And then I'll regularly update the SRLJC on if there's anyone that has shown interest in it. So we'll move to the MacArthur update.
Mike,
We
could I ask
were
one
approved-
question?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is John term limited?
Is John what?
It's John term limited, or you just,
Yeah,
you've done it too many years? I'm just checking.
yeah, his term limits, like I was saying earlier, and so he's gracefully gonna stay on for us. I'm having a problem talking today because they got me up too early. I don't know what it is, but anyway, so until we find a replacement for him, but we'll go through the normal procedure, Justin, on posting it with the board, and then they'll announce that the openings will be up. And then I'll give you guys regular updates on anybody that's shown interest in it. Okay? So I'll cover real quick, the MacArthur update. We did get the grant approved by, the capstone approved by the Board of County Commissioners, so we can begin work on it. As you all recall, there are some caveats to it that were a part of it. We're gonna work through with the core group to kind of address those along with JMI to kind of get those shored up and get a response back to the MacArthur Foundation. So I'll let you know as soon as we start getting some of those, and I will send out actually a copy of what we send back to MacArthur to the SRLJC for you all to review as well. So a couple things that are coming up that you should be aware of. One of them is real quickly is pretrial services dashboard is up and running. It will have an opportunity for Aaron to show everyone the evaluations on the therapeutic courts. I'll let Tim handle, but he's also got some information about the courts that he's going to handle. We're excited to talk about the community engagement, which I'm going to do next and introduce my guest. I'll give a quick update on the 1115 waiver program and then the crisis relief and sobering center. So without further ado, I would like to announce Mary Ann is here. She with the JMI Institute. I don't know if you can see her in the corner there. Very heavily involved with the MacArthur Foundation. She's been working very closely with myself and most of the other representatives on putting it together and getting it submitted and now finally approved. So I'm very happy to have her on board as support. And with her is Gwen White. She's, I'll let them introduce you and give you some history on the back of it. She is also here from the Safety and Justice Challenge, very involved and has been most of her career in community engagement. As we all know, community engagement has been one of those things that has been the area we want to focus on, and particularly our core group is wanted to focus on. So what I thought I would do is just give her an opportunity to talk, and then also kind of share with us her background. So go ahead, Gwen.
Thank you, Mike, and always thank you to Mary Ann for just being my partner during this time as well. But my name is Gwen Wright, and I have been working with the SJC initiative since 2018. And they brought me into this work to really help those sites who are interested in doing what I call deep and intensive community engagement. And so coming here to Spokane, this is what I hope to do to support the efforts that Mike and his team, as well as your group, are really sort of relaunching back out to support and engage in meaningful community engagement. I bring to you about 20 years of experience in doing this, from the federal level to the state level to the local level. across all genres, community engagement, climate control, high school education, state initiatives. And so through all of those experiences, there are a couple of core things that I've learned when it comes to engaging community as a partner. And so that's the premise and the framing that I use when I'm helping communities, organizations, or even individuals think about the best ways to engage community. And so I'll stop there. I'm really excited and happy to be here and happy to support this work. And so looking forward to getting to know all of you in a more deeper way as we move forward in this work. To those who I met yesterday, it's great to see your faces again today. Thank you for being back in this space because you knew you were going to see me again. So you didn't not come, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Okay, and also I'll have Mary Ann introduce herself and just talk a little briefly about the capstone grant.
Hello, it's nice to see those of you that we saw earlier today and yesterday. I'm Mary Ann Clear with the Justice Management Institute and have been working with Spokane for the Safety and Justice Challenge for just over a year now. And I am glad that you all did receive your capstone. I'm proud of you for the work that you put in and for the work ahead. You all have seemed very excited about that work. And I'm grateful to be a part of that with you. You all have asked for technical assistance on doing community engagement, and I'm excited to be working with Gwen on that. She's a great partner in this. She's well recognized nationally, and looking forward to doing that work with you.
And Gwen has had an opportunity, well, Gwen and Mary Ann have had an opportunity to meet with the core group and several of you just on a level set personal note, kind of get some ideas from you and some of the areas that you see that it could be potentially launched in areas that we would, maybe focus our attention to. Along with that, tonight at 6:30 in the Champions Room over at the Spokane Arena, we're going to host a community engagement event that's going to be from 6:30 to 8 o'clock tonight. You're all welcome to attend if you want to. Matter of fact, I hope some of you do attend. Kind of short notice, but I think some of you got notice already. So I'm just extending the invitation to anybody that would like to join that. I think it's going to be a good opportunity to see, and to hear and to listen from the community on some of their concerns about community engagement. I think also you'll be able to see a good turnout of our leadership, including a couple commissioners, if not three, that are also want to be involved with this process. So I just hope that you all have an opportunity to attend. If you're not sure where it's at, or if you have any more questions, you can follow up with Medea and she'll get you guys guided in the right direction. So 6:30 to 8, it'll start off with a presentation by Gwen, an overview of what's going on, and then it will involve some back and forth, and we're hoping to, really have a good opportunity to engage with the community. At the conclusion of that, we're going to collect our notes. We're going to meet as a team. We're going to kind of lay those notes out, kind of a bare bones strategic plan of what we're looking going forward, and I will share that with all of you as well. So it's kind of the plan that we got moving forward right now. Any other follow-up on that, you guys, that you want to say? No? Okay, super relaxed environment. It's not, it's not going to be preaching at them. It's not going to be, a yelling and screaming session. It's going to be a relaxed atmosphere. There'll be refreshments there. Everybody just have an opportunity just to intermingle and talk with the community. So sure hope you guys have an opportunity to make that tonight. Okay, so going back to a couple of points that I need to hit. Just what is it, 12:25 now? Pretrial dashboard. Aaron, do you want to talk about this a bit, please?
Yeah, I think I went through that with, I'm getting confused between core team and SRLJC, but I think I went through that with SRLJC a month or two back.
Right.
We've been fine tuning it, and we took it to the district court bench, Judge Fassbender, excuse me, Judge Fennessy on the Superior Court bench. I think the feedback's been positive. I don't know where we're at completely with Superior Court. I think Judge Fennessy said there weren't any other objections from the court, so I thought I would just check in with him if we're good to go there. Okay. All right, so I think the next step is to work with Diane Lindquist and the IT team on posting that on the website and getting that public facing. So we're in a good spot there, and we're ready to launch on the dashboard.
Did you want to touch a little bit on the capstone and what your next
Oh.
step? are?
Yeah, so the capstone grant, the bulk of our efforts is going to be surrounding the supported release program. Been working with Judge Fassbender and Colin Charbonneau primarily on what that's going to look like. I plan on sending out that most recent draft to the whole core team today so they can weigh in on it before we start making hires. Just make sure we're all on the same page of what that program might look like, and get the court's blessing as well, because it's going to be run through district court first. So yeah, we're just going to be looking to target those folks who need services, who don't need to be held on bond, who could use help in the community, making referrals and giving them the appropriate help during the pretrial stage to help them be successful. So that's going to be the bulk of our efforts initially. There's another position that we're going to try and hire to track fail to appear warrants, try to help them get bench warrant recalls and just warrant avoidance work. That'll kind of be the next phase after we get squared away with supported release. There's also a component of a peer navigator or a court navigator, whatever direction we're going to go there. So there's kind of three parts, kind of a three-headed monster that we're trying to tackle, but we're going to kind of take it in phases and start primarily with, I believe, with the supported release component, working with the courts on that. So we got a lot of work to do. And I appreciate all your help. Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron, I appreciate that so much. And you do have a lot of work ahead of you. And, there is a training process too for becoming pretrial officers of, what is it? Is it 3 months, or I can't recall the period of time?
Yeah, it depends on the person, but it can take up to 4 to 6 months to get people really comfortable. So there will be a little bit of lag time as far as the new hires go.
Right, we'll get busy on that part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the dashboards are in line with the blueprint reform, and it's 5.15. So they're the second dashboard that we've created. I've reached out to some others just to see if there's some interest in getting their dashboards up, up on the county site, along with outward facing, so the public has an opportunity to look through them as well. I do have some interest right now from the prosecutor's office, so I can believe next week we're going to have a kickoff meeting with them to talk about what they're looking for, and work with Larry on those key points. So the next is the evaluation of therapeutic courts. I know Tim has an update, along with an update about the current circumstances with the court. Tim?
Yeah, hey, thank you. So we'll start with therapeutic courts first. It's been a while since we met because everybody's pretty busy doing lots of issues to include budget work. So our district court did do an evaluation a while back, and the adult drug court has done an evaluation. So the next two courts we're going to look at will be our veterans court in district court and our veterans court in city court. Check on evaluation on that. If I understand correctly, I thought we were next in line for the dashboard work now. We were waiting for pretrial services to get done. I thought that we're going to do the therapeutic court dashboard next to get that information out. So I'll talk to you more about that one. But that's where we are right now, and following what's happening with the blueprint for reform. So any questions for the therapeutic work group, courts work group on that?
Tim, just to let you know, we're going to work simultaneously with you. We're just waiting for you to give us the absolute go ahead, and then we're ready to go.
Yeah, I think we're all in favor from our therapeutic court work group to go ahead and start putting that dashboard together with the information that we provided your analysts to look at. And so I think we're set to go forward. The next issue a lot of folks have asked me about is what's going on with the court networks in the state. So just kind of a quick rundown. On the evening of 1 November, the Friday night of about a week and a half ago, the Administrative Office of the Courts had detected unauthorized activity within the court system network, the state network. And so they immediately secured and shut down the entire state network. That directly impacted the Supreme Court, the courts of appeal, our Superior Court trial courts, and our courts of limited jurisdiction. They have a cybersecurity recovery team, a third-party team now working to help AOC contain the activity and the threat actor. What we're looking at, according to AOC, is that a full domain controller needs to be sanitized and reset. So the entire system has to be cleaned and reset. And then AOC's plan is to bring systems on, yeah, and thank you, Tori, juvenile as well, to bring systems on one system at a time as they forensically sanitize, reset, and set new protections for each of these systems. But the shutdown included not only Odyssey case management, but JABS, JIS, the AIC, the AOC webpage, and all supporting network systems within that big system. So that was everything. They cannot access the backups. Everybody asked about backups. You can't go to the backups because they have to rebuild the entire platform environment and the coding and the access protocols and the domain controller. So we can't go to the backups. At this time, AOC is saying that they see no evidence of data being infiltrated, altered, or removed. So that's what they're saying right now for their information. They anticipate this system to be online by 18 November. Obviously, the impacts down at our level is huge because we are all connected to the Case Odyssey management system. Fortunately for us, we decided back in 2016 not to go with the Odyssey document management system, but to keep our application extender case, our own internal application extender document management system. So we were able to manage and control our own document management system. The real impacts, there's no access to the Odyssey case management. There's no access to JABS or JIS. You cannot you cannot code any current court documents. You cannot access the court records as of 31 October. So you can see nothing after 31 October because there's nothing in there. You can't put anything in there. New cases and everything cannot be coded. They cannot be entered. And we can't enter any of that stuff into our own document management system. There's no ability to e-file, and there's no ability to handle financial transactions electronically. There's no ability to auto-populate the system so that we could set hearing dates electronically. So we can't do that either. And there are many, many more no's, but that's just some of the highlight ones. So what is everybody doing? We're back to manual operations, manual paperwork, manual case numbering. That's what we're doing right now. What we used to do 10 years ago. Everything's done by hand, and we have paper receipts for all financial transactions. My office set up Excel spreadsheets for each case type so that we could track all the new case numbers and all the assigned documents. Here's the key. Remember, it's the Odyssey Tyler system, so the case numbers and documents must be sequential for all 39 counties. If any county has any new case out of sequence, the other 38 counties cannot enter the system. So all this is going to have to be done manually as we rebuild and restart the system. But things like CPOs, civil protection orders, no contact orders, emergency orders are all being done and all being processed within the court time limits and sent to police records in the time limits required. So that stuff is staying. We're still executing that. We can execute bonds and warrants in-house. We just can't enter them into the legal record. So having said all that, we did release a press release. We have talked to the Bar Association so they can talk to their membership. We have stuff posted on the websites. We have posters all around the courthouse that the electronic network is shut down and that all workarounds are manual by a paperwork process right now. I normally get 2,300 documents filed a day. Right now, I'm at 1,100 documents filed a day. I just can't enter any of that stuff yet. So the next big challenge is after they reset and get the system back up, which they're saying Monday, 18 November, then the bigger challenge will be to enter all that information back. Right now, I'm looking at, at Superior Court level, I'm looking at 12,100 documents that we're going to have to barcode, scan, enter, stat, and get them into the system. And I know that Judge Fassbender, her team probably have just as big as a problem. Did I leave anything out from your side of the house, Judge Fassbender, what you need to do or what's your challenges?
I can say with district court here, we're in a different system with regards to our processes. So we're not as limited as Superior Court is. Officers are paper hand delivering citations. So we are going back to the way we used to do it back in the day with paperworks and getting things actually set into the system is not actually happening, but we are, as you are doing as well, keeping spreadsheets as to court dates and such. I would note that the Washington State Supreme Court did come out with an emergency order that was sent out over the weekend as of November 8th. The Supreme Court did authorize as far as the extensions with regards to time limits specifically because we're unable to actually enter stuff into the system, and or what happens is on the electronic filing of citations and tickets by law enforcement, those get uploaded into the system and then automatically downloaded for filing. Since we're having to do paper versions, that may be delayed as far as some statutory requirements with regards to reporting to AOC on conviction information. So the Supreme Court did allow an extension on their emergency order with regards to time for trial, filing deadlines, decision deadlines, case filing, speedy trial, sentencing, because we are reliant on the state system with regards to criminal background information, defendant case history. We are still able to access or get the prosecutor's office and or police department probation still has access to the NCIC or III for conviction information because that is off of a different system. So we still have access to some case history. But otherwise though, any filing with regards to infractions, any of those timing deadlines, those have been extended by the Washington State Supreme Court order. But we're still going forward with jury trials, still going forward with all of our hearings. We are not an electronic-based filing system. We're still a paper-based filing system. So we're still able to scan and index. You still have access to our information on the document viewer. It's just that you have to access it by case number specific because there's no way to search by name at this point in time. So I do know I have spoken with Judge O'Sullivan. She's presiding with municipal court. They are kind of about in the same position as district court, but I was going to see as far as I don't know if she is here with us today, but maybe Justin Bingham. I know he's in the know as far as the city side of things, but I think municipal and district court are in pretty good positions despite the outage at this time.
Yeah, municipal court is in a slightly better position because our e-court electronic database system is separate and distinct from the state's. All of our court clerks will have to go back and re-enter all of the dispositions and all of that paperwork into the state system. But we've been functioning fairly normally. The only issue that we've really seen, and Judge Fassbender talked about that, is the access to criminal histories at first appearance for bond decisions and at sentencing, fairly limited. The NCIC system went down for a day, but then it came back up. But we have some information, but not as much. It's challenging, but I think at least on the courts of limited jurisdiction, we're in a lot better place than what superior courts are.
And so my final comment across the board, Spokane for us at Superior Court, we're doing better than vast majority of all counties in the state right now because of our own modernization and internal workings that we put in place for the past 10 years. So overall, Spokane County with all its courts is doing very, very well compared to the state. Across the state, folks are coming to a virtual standstill right now, but Spokane is doing very well. So I think that's important for this council to know. That's all I had, Mike.
Echo that as well. Thanks, Tim, for pointing that out. But we did have a meeting across the state with all presiding judges and court administrators, and Spokane is at the top of still being able to function despite the outage. So I would like to give that shout out to our county.
Good job, you guys. Judge Fennessy, did you want to comment?
Only that the longer it goes, obviously, the worse it lasts. And the optimistic date that Tim provided, you know, we're all very, very hopeful. But there are some war stories out there that have extended this significantly. So as Judge Fossbender mentioned, we're hopeful, we're keeping our fingers crossed, and it's good that we have the accessibility and the visibility that we do have. But today is, you know, it's beginning to get worse because, as Tim mentioned, we can't see anything more recent than 10/31, and that's making it more and more difficult for each of us as we move forward. But we're lucky thus far. We're hopeful, and we'll just continue to hope that they are successful in getting us back online next week, and then that they offer to pay Tim some of the overtime that's going to be necessary to catch up, because we continue to build. Obviously, that 12,000 that he's got to catch up will be in 24,000 in not too long.
Colin or Tori, any comments from either of you?
No, I don't have anything to add. I am curious about, my association was at our conference last weekend when this came out. And so the question was overtime. This is going to be an extensive backlog. And Tim, I know you have a lot more contact with AOC. Has there been any conversation around that?
Yeah, we've had a long discussion with Chris Stanley in the meeting saying, hey, we believe that AOC needs to look at supporting the counties and all the courts at various levels to make this up, similar to what we're doing with the Blake refunds, using the A19s, writing down the time that employees take that are overtime and submitting that to AOC. AOC is thinking about putting legislation together to ask the legislature this upcoming session for funding for this. AOC at the moment does not have funding for this. However, they do have cybersecurity insurance. And they're talking about using that money, that funding, to support the overtime effort.
Great. Thank you.
Colin, anything?
Not really. Judge Fossman already mentioned it. The biggest issue for our office right now is getting a hold of criminal histories, trying to resolve cases based on, you know, limited information. But we're working with the prosecutor's office to access NCIC, and hopefully we can move things along. But that's where we are.
Any more comment on that, or anybody want to talk through that?
I have a question. I'm just curious if the outage is having impact on length of stay or that particular area, or am I way off base here?
I can say, at least with district court, the jail first appearance docket, because the prosecutor's office still has access, and pretrial services still has access to NCIC, we still have that criminal background information, that we're still proceeding with those considerations on bond and or release, just as we would do as previously.
Yeah, I second that. Up at Superior Court, the bonds and the warrants are still working. System is still processing through. We still have first appearance. I can let Judge finish if he has any other detail to add, but we still have first appearance going and everything is on track at the moment. But as Judge Finney did mention, the longer this goes on, the more difficult it's going to get to keep track of all the hearings and stuff.
I would say the only other thing that really we're dealing with is it's hard to coordinate cases because you can't see all the other cases that are sitting there, especially cross-jurisdictional. So you can't see when district courts, you know, sister case to our case is set, and it's harder for our lawyers to work with defense counsel to try to resolve things in a global fashion. So we are seeing that as an issue. But our situation is very similar to what Judge Fossbender described in district court when it comes to we're still being able to process our cases. And I think our judges are erring on the side of caution when they don't have certain information. So I don't see any wild changes, but there are issues and they will probably take a while to work out.
I can say that we're all really pretty good about trying to find as far as the same date and or time, if someone has a case in the other two courts and our sister courts. And so that's one thing I do feel bad about as far as, trying to find that one day for them to come to the campus to hit up all three of us if necessary. And we don't have the ability to do that right now. So they might have multiple court dates, unfortunately, until we can get through this process.
There has been a lot of pitching in though, and people double checking and making sure that even if they don't have the full case number and we don't have full access to that they do have the current dates and are trying to coordinate that, at least as far as the lawyers go that have been in front of me, both the public defender and the prosecuting attorney's office. And then I don't know if I heard a term of art, but in terms of the lifting of stay, it has not impacted that docket on our Friday lift of stay dockets. But again, the longer this goes, the more difficult that will be.
So, Rochelle or John, do you guys have any comments for the panel from the community or? Rochelle, I was wondering if you're going to be able to attend tonight's meeting or was it too short a notice?
I apologize, but I'm flying to Seattle tonight for a board meeting. So I was bummed when I saw the email because I would have loved to attend. I do not have any updates. Our subcommittee hasn't met just based on our recommendation of last meeting of either contracting or somehow compensating a group that is more knowledgeable in race equity work and really being able to be the driver of that. And so we just kind of continue to stick with that recommendation for the group, since otherwise we've been stagnant on that for quite some time.
Okay. John, anything? You're on mute. Wait.
Yeah, just real quick, as we were talking about open seats and stuff like that, I'm happy to stay on. One of the things that concerns me is putting my position in front of the open seat for the racial equity chair. I'm not quite sure why we haven't filled that position. I think some of it is probably political. And I know there are people who have applied that are qualified, and the county commissioners chose not to accept their application. And so I'm just a little bit disturbed that position hasn't been filled. I know we talked about it. Rochelle talked about hiring somebody at our last meeting, and that would be fine. But that chair remains open for quite some time. I can't imagine what would threaten the commissioners to not put somebody who is highly qualified, very engaged in the community, and yet be denied that, for this council to be denied that seat. And so it would be real sad if they replaced me. I'm not going to apply again. I've been on it. When I got hired on, or when I volunteered, they were 4-year terms. So I've got 8 years on this council at this point. And but I'm willing to stay, and I just hope that they fill that racial equity chair position before they open mine up. That's about all I have to say on that.
Well, I'll tell you, I share your concern, John. We've been actively trying to find someone to fill that role. And I'm hopeful through this community engagement that we're doing now that we'll develop some more trust, and some other folks will come forward that may be interested in that position. So we're going to go at it the same way that we did before, which is trying to get out there and hear the voice and get people involved and then come to the table. So Gwen is here to help us with that. And so we're hopeful that along with what you're talking about, Rochelle, it's larger than just one area. It's a big picture. And so we're gonna rely on her expertise along with JMI to kind of craft us up something to get us going in the right direction. It's what I told the court group, you know, when you talk about community engagement, where do you start? I mean, there's just so much to it. And I recognized early, as did the core group, we're gonna need some outside help. And so that's why we reached out, and we have Gwen here today, and we had her yesterday and she's here today, so as well. But I think everything you said is spot on, you know. I just think that we need to go through the components of finding someone that's gonna be trusting and wants to step up and fill that role, so. Go ahead.
I also think that the work is also more important than just filling the chair position and checking that box. There's a lot more work involved in that, and so it's important to know that will be a strategic plan put in place, and that this work is closely connected to the work of that chair, and kind of designing what that relationship looks like between what the racial equity subcommittee is doing and what this community engagement group is doing, and what does that look like, and what is that relationship. And so making sure that it's not that work is connected, and so that it's more than just filling that position. But I made a note here that I would like to see a copy of what the subcommittee recommended, if I could.
Okay.
Please.
It's in the minutes.
Okay,
So we'll get you copies of the minutes.
thank you.
Anything else? I'll cover real quickly the 1115 waiver program that was began. And if you recall, this is the ability for us to bill back Medicaid for some dollars that those folks, and make it available to people that are incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, on the reentry side of it. So we're heavily invested on it. Eric Green is the project manager on it. The state has really not come up with a good plan yet. So milestones that we were intended to hit with cohort 1, they've extended to the point now where they're going to roll together cohort 1 and 2. So there'll be another meeting to update us next Wednesday. As soon as I find something out, I'll be able to update a little bit more on that. On the Crisis Relief and Sobering Center, I think I announced that we were going out to RFQ to try to find some qualified applicants. We received 7 replies to it. Right now, our committee is going through the 7 candidates to get a short list, create a short list of 3. And then from there, we'll have them start working on the request for proposal. So I'll keep you updated on that too, but it's on track. It's headed in a direction that's on schedule. So if anything changes on that, I'll make sure that I let you all know about that. We have about 6 minutes if anybody's got some roundtable discussion they just want for the good here. If not, ask Gwen or Mary Ann some questions. They're available as well. And I'm hoping that you guys can make some of you can make the meeting tonight. It'd be beneficial just to get in that environment and work with the community. So, all right. This is where everybody stares at me and I stare back at you. Anybody else got anything? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate everything you guys do, and you guys hang in there and keep up the good work. And I'll let you guys go. Have a good day.